Hey, good morning, rock stars. Hope you guys are getting ready to have a good weekend. With hurricanes hitting and weather and stuff like that, it doesn't look like the storm surge was as bad as we thought, but it was still plenty bad. I'm looking at some of the footage down at Lake Charles and some of the wind damage and some of the water damage, and it's pretty significant. So let's all pray for our folks in Louisiana. Brittany had asked, we got a couple of newer agents, a couple of things happen if you got a property under contract. Tell your buyers and your sellers not to worry, okay? A lot of times we went through Ike in Houston, Denise and I did, and I'll tell you what happened down there. It was, you had to re-inspect the houses and repairs had to be done. The buyer has the option, if there's significant damage other than normal wear and tear, to back out and get their earnest money back and things like that. Natural disasters we can't do much about. But your buyer shouldn't be nervous in the event that there is damage. Under paragraph 14, casualty and loss, I'm going to read the whole thing to you here, okay? If any part of the property is damaged or destroyed by fire or other casualty after the effective date of the contract, seller shall restore the property to its previous condition as soon as reasonably possible, but in any event by the closing date. If the seller fails to do so due to factors beyond the seller's control, okay, buyer may A, terminate the contract and get the earnest money refunded to the buyer, or extend the time of performance up to 15 days with the condition with an assignment of insurance proceeds if permitted by the seller's insurance carrier. So in other words, I still want the house, it needs a roof, it's got a few things done. I'm just going to sign the insurance check over, pay my deductible to you, and if the insurance carrier will let us do that, you fix it and you pick, or he'll fix it, those type of things. So it builds in some things there that protect the seller, and also it should make protect the buyer, but it should make the seller very comfortable with the fact if you're working with a win-win. If you get somebody that's completely unreasonable or a real estate agent's unreasonable, they want to bring it back to the original state. Well, it's obviously going to be new sheetrock or new roof or this and the other, so it's probably going to be better. Get reputable contractors. So the thing as agents, what we need to do is have a list of 3 or 4 reputable contractors that can get out, give bids, get these things done, meet with insurance adjusters so that our sellers are comfortable and our buyers are comfortable. And all we're doing is recommendations. We don't make any money on these guys. What we want to do is get those people out there and get this done. This is something where you want to hold people's hands and tell them it's not as bad as it. I mean, we've had houses go completely down to the foundation, and we extended, we did this, we did that. They ended up getting a brand new house. The people had moved out of state, and so these people had to wait for a house to be rebuilt. So think about that. That happened in Houston during some of the hurricanes. So you want a situation to where everybody is a win-win, and when a storm's coming, we need the voice of reason. There's a couple of different kinds of realtors out there. They're the ones that go, oh my God, the sky is falling, and go, you know what, Mother Nature's dealing us a card we didn't want to deal with, but we're going to get through this. That's the kind of agent you need to be. Don't look at everything that could go wrong. Look at everything that could go right, and reward your customers with a calm, professional attitude. Now I want to add on to this. That should cover anything you're going to have on damages. It looks like we may have a little wind damage, tree down here and there. The worst of it's going to come for us this afternoon. We've had a beautiful morning out there. We had some rain last night, but it wasn't near as bad as we thought. I think we'll get, this afternoon. It's really turning east hard, and poor Louisiana and parts of Arkansas are getting hammered, and we don't want that to happen, but we're blessed to not have it. So let's pray for the folks that we know over there, and even the folks that we don't know, that they survive this and do great. We've had a couple situations lately, 3 as a matter of fact, where we had listing agents on pretty extensive price-wise properties. These were way up there, and the listing agents start dictating when the inspections could be done, this, that, and the other, and all that. Guys, I want to tell you something. Under paragraph 7 of the property condition, 7A, access, inspections, and utilities, seller shall permit the buyer and buyer's agents access to the property at reasonable times. Buyer may have a property inspected by inspectors selected by the buyer and licensed by TREC, or otherwise permitted by law to make inspections. Any hydrostatic testing must be done separately, authorized by the seller in writing. Seller at the seller's expense shall immediately cause existing utilities to be turned on and shall keep the utilities on during the time this contract is in effect. We have had homes where things are not turned on and the other agent is going, well, they're not going to turn them on. You signed a contract. These people are spending money on an inspection and you don't have an inspectable. So let me make that clear to you. An inspection's usually under 500. They can literally take the seller to small claims court and they will win. It wouldn't cost them much to sue them. You signed a contract, we're entering into the contract, we're spending money to come out and inspect the property, the gas isn't on, the water isn't on, this isn't on, that isn't on, and then the agent cops an attitude about it. Read the contract, okay? We want to make sure that everyone knows what's going on in the contract. Guys, we, as agents, now you guys are pretty good. I got to hand it to Miller Homes Group agents. But as agents, we have to get more professional out there. There's nothing wrong with telling a seller, you've got your house on the market. Everything needs to be functioning at its best when the inspector comes out. You can't have the gas turned off and have a gas water heater and a gas heater. He can't test those. So those are you can't have the water tested off. Off. We had situations where the water's been turned off. They turn the water on, it floods the house. So how would you like to go to closing, come out, pay your deal, come out after closing, meet the water guy there, turn it on. You're taking pictures in the front yard, and mom and dad are there. You go in the house, and all of a sudden the house it's full of water. It's filling up with water. So these things, when you get into a contract, if you're going, I'm going to give you some advice. When you tour the property, if everything's not turned on, highlight this in the contract. Make dead sure when you send it over, hey, we noticed this was not on. We expect to do inspections on these days. This has to be on. Oh, well, my seller's not going to. No, wait a minute. It's part of the contract. So, guys, we want to make sure that we have a win-win. It doesn't do the seller any good. We're not doing our job as agents if we don't tell the seller, I don't care what it costs you, you've got to get these things turned on. 99 times out of 100, the reason they don't have the gas or the water turned on, because those aren't traditionally very expensive bills, is because something's leaking. Now, if the electricity's not on, they may be behind on the bill or this, that, and the other. We don't put it in our name. It says the seller at the seller's expense. So we want to make sure that gets done. Those are things that are important in order. Houses are not cheap. You've got to be able to. We had a house that's $700,000 didn't have anything but the electricity turned on. Well, come to find out, had a water leak. They were just gonna not tell anybody and hope it closed. Well, interesting enough, raised Cain with the other agent. The other agent was a really good agent, called the seller and said the water has to be turned on. It's part of the contract. You can be sued for the inspection, all of the cost and coming out and all that stuff. And the seller fessed up, well, we got a little water leak. Where? Well, fortunately, it was under a sink, so we could turn a valve off. So the valve was turned off, water was turned on, and then we went and looked, and it wasn't that big of a leak. But those type of things need to be made clear. We're listing things. We're also going to get into, I'm going to have some help on this, and we're going to call somebody in to talk about, we're doing more and more trailer houses. And I love them, man. Some of them are as nice as anything you've ever seen. But the problem is we got listing agents who aren't familiar with them. They're listing these homes, and they're putting in their FHA or USDA, and they won't go. They're not underpinned correctly. They're not down. The tongue's not off of them, this, that, and the other. And then as the buyer's agent, they want you to do all the work. It's not the way it works. So we want to make sure that a video like this can be shared. You guys can share it. So when you have a buyer or a seller that's got a mobile home, we want them to be able to know what they're looking for when they go out, because man, there are some great looking double and triple wides on 40 and 50 acres out there that are fantastic and have some value to them. They're very nice homes, but agent checks, it'll go financing this way when we're not lenders, but you can look at a house and go, that ain't going to go that way. So we've got agents out there, competitors, that are putting stuff house in 1 acre, go FHA, you go out, it doesn't have any underpinning, that type of thing. Can't do that. So we're going to get a lender in here, and we're going to talk at length about that one day, and maybe even a title rep, but definitely a lender. And we're going to talk at length about that one day as to what we need to do to inform our customers. And we're going to do it in a way that there's a video that you guys can put out to say, okay, you're looking at you're looking at, a trailer house. We want you, okay, to watch this, because these are things we're looking for, because we've got trailers that have been moved. People, it's got a tongue on it. They think they can move it. Okay. The VIN number's on the front end up by the tongue, and I'm not going out and look at you listed the property. So we are only as good as the laziest among us. So we've got to inform the public what to expect when they're listing a property. God, I hope they're listening with us if we have the knowledge, or when they're buying a property. And I hope they're buying from us if we have the knowledge, because this is coming up weekly now, that we have stuff that cannot close because the other agent put in there at FHA, and then it gets all the way. Unbelievable. The lender, you don't have a lender that's familiar. We've had buyers where they're using a lender. Well, we got a couple we can refer to if there's a problem. No, we like ours, man. He's a friend of my brother's sisters, twice removed. Well, then you get down to it. Oh my God, wait a minute. This is a trailer house. Yes, it always has been. It was listed in MLS as a trailer house. We told you it was a trailer house. Now it gets to underwriting. You were so excited to get a loan. Now it gets to underwriting, and they go, wait a minute. You have to have engineering. You have to have all that. So guys, just want to touch on what's coming up. Want to indicate to you, of course, under paragraph 14, okay, anything happens to one during a natural disaster or anything like that, everybody's kind of protected. It is a disaster. It's not a license to steal from the seller or the buyer. Absolutely not. Okay. But the house has to be put back in the right condition, or if you can't get it done in 15 days, then pursuant to if the insurance company will allow, you can extend it further, or you can make those proceeds go to the buyer, and the buyer can fix those if he's satisfied and the buyer's lender is satisfied. So there's a couple different ways we can do that to help them. But guys, we want to be the voice of reason, calm, absolutely calm, when things are going crazy, when the weather, okay? Can you imagine? I've been there. We were during Ike down there. The realtors in Lake Charles, Lafayette, all down there, they're going to have no inventory to sell for a few months because everything was under contract has to be re-inspected. So you're basically, hurricane hits of that force, 90% of your inventory is down. So these people are going to be suffering. And we want to do our best. We're going to have more shoppers in our market, because some people are saying, man, this is 2 hurricanes in 15 years, I'm done. And this was a bad one. I'm thankful that the storm surge wasn't as bad. But we want to make sure that we're compassionate and we understand, and we're the voice of reason. Hey, guys, I hope you guys are having a great Thursday. We're going to have a great Thursday at Miller Homes Group. The weather's pretty decent outside. The wind's picking up. We're obviously going to get some rain. I didn't play golf today because we thought it was going to be raining when I got up. So I'm going to play tomorrow on my birthday. We're going to have a little bit of fun. But I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Let's sell some houses.